Hey guys, it's Channing. Today I'm going to be doing a drugstore foundation review of the new Milani foundation. It is the Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. Mine is in the lightest shade, which is creamy vanilla. I did get mine at CVS and it was $9.99. I know this is kind of hard to find. It took me a while to find it once I heard about it. And I ended up ordering one online, but I ended up getting one in the store and it was too dark because they didn't have this color. It was way too dark for me, so I returned that. And then I Googled online like when the store next to me would get it, and then they got it. So I picked it up. So this is supposed to be, let's just read it. It says Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. It's supposed to be medium to full coverage, which is what I like. Lightweight, oil-free formula, long-wearing, water-resistant, and sweat-proof. So basically this is the perfect foundation, especially for me. This kind of meets all of my standards. I like medium to full just because I like that flawless look. I like light coverage. I don't like it when foundations look cakey. I don't think really anybody does. Oil-free is good because I do have oil-free and acne-prone skin. Long-wearing, obviously. Who doesn't want a long-wearing foundation? Water-resistant and sweat-proof, that's good. I would think, I haven't put this to the test, like actually sweating, like working out, but I would think if it's like water-resistant and sweat-proof, it would be resistant to like oily skin. I mean, it doesn't claim that it's for oily skin, but I would think sweat-proof, oil is kind of sweat, it would kind of help combat that, if you guys know what I'm saying. And then water-resistant, kind of like, especially in the winter time, well, winter where I am, like blowing your nose and doing that stuff, I would think that it would kind of resist the wetness up there and all that fun stuff. So let's get into it. This is a 1 fluid ounce size. The packaging is really nice. It looks pretty luxurious. It feels really great. It does have a pump, which is really nice for a drugstore foundation. Mine's a little dirty because I am wearing it today. I'm gonna just put a little bit on the back of my hand. This is a very thick, creamy foundation, which I would expect for like a medium to full coverage and all that kind of stuff. But this, I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera. It's very like, it doesn't show as much on camera. It's got a very yellow base, which is good if you have that type of skin, but I am not really, I'm more of like, I'm a neutral. I'm not too pink, I'm not too yellow, I'm very in the middle. I have not an olivey, but like a light olive, which you would think would be yellow, but I'm not yellow, if that makes any sense. But like, this is a very yellowy foundation. It is very thick and very creamy. I've used it with a flat top kabuki and more of a softer blending brush from e.l.f. Both ways they give me the same amount of coverage. I am wearing it today. Don't get me wrong, this foundation looks really nice when you first put it on. I'm launching my website soon, and any day now actually, and I will have a post on there with pictures on like before it, after it with flash and stuff, but just to give my little mini review. With flash, there is no flashback, which is nice. I mean, there's no SPF in it, so I wasn't really expecting flashback. It looks really nice after you put it on, but it says it's a 2-in-1 concealer. I have a raging pimple on my chin, which my camera, you know, especially phone cameras, they have kind of that beauty tool which kind of airbrushes you out, but this thing, I have no concealer on it, and it is like bright red, and this like didn't cover it at all. I mean, it covered it a little bit, but like in real life, it's a lot more red. I didn't put concealer on just so I could show you guys. You could still see it. Other than that, I don't really have anything else on my face. I have freckles here and there. I have some discoloration on my cheeks that it covered up pretty well. And then I did have to use concealer under my eyes just because I like to brighten under my eyes. I mean, I don't really have dark circles. I just like to brighten that area. Throughout the day, I have worn this a few times to work. I work like an 8-hour shift. I work at a desk job, so I'm not really up and about and moving and sweating, but I do have oily skin, so I do get oily pretty much everywhere. My whole face. It's not just the T-zone, not just cheeks. Even my nose gets oily. By the end of the day, when I come home after 8 hours, I don't know how to explain this. Like, it's like my skin pushes this on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, I know people are like, I don't, like, and makeup companies kind of say like, oh, it doesn't settle into your pores and stuff. But like this, I felt like when I put on foundation, I feel like, I mean, it settles, but not in like a bad way where it's like pores, you know what I mean? It kind of settles and fills everything in. This, at like when you first put it on, looks great. But at the end of the day, probably about a bird is literally right in front of my face. This is so weird. I have an audience. Okay, probably about 4 to 5, like around lunchtime, my face starts to get oily. I like blot it, whatever. Sometimes I don't blot it, especially like if I'm trying out a foundation. I'll blot it one day and not the next. But by the time I come home, my face just feels like a grease pit. And again, I have oily skin, but there's other foundations I use, like one from Wet n Wild that isn't even oil controlling, and this doesn't happen to it. And that foundation is $2.99. But this just like, my oil pushes this on top of my skin, and then it looks patchy and splotchy and greasy, and it does not look good. So I don't think it's long lasting, at least for me. Also, with the long wearing, water resistant, sweat proof, I would think, I mean, it doesn't claim it's transfer proof, but I would think it would kind of be transfer proof. I do blow my nose probably like every hour. I blow it like one time because I do have allergies and stuff. And it's not like a harsh blow. I just my nose drips because of allergies, so I just kind of like dab it. Comes right off. You can see all of my redness around my nose. It just looks terrible. So it doesn't really last long with that. It's not like I'm putting the tissue on and like rubbing it around. Like I'm just like lightly putting it on and kind of wiping or blowing gently to just kind of, you know, get the drip. And it just comes right off. It comes right off. All of this is showing, like it doesn't work. So I will be returning this foundation, unfortunately. I have watched a couple reviews where people like this. Like I say this in a lot of my foundation reviews I've heard. I mean, I've realized I watch a lot of girls that have oily skin like me, and they love these foundations. So then I go get them and I hate them. Like I don't have super oily skin. I just have, I would say it's mild to moderate depending on the weather. Like now that it's cooler, it's more mild. I still get oily, but they seem to have really oily skin, and it works for them, but I just don't like it, and I don't believe in like keeping something that I'm not going to use. I mean, yeah, it was only $10, but that's $10 I could spend on trying out something else. So I did put it on today just to test it one last time. I do prime with an oil controlling primer. I set with a powder. I set with a setting spray that's oil controlling, and I still get oily. Some days are worse than others, again, depending on what I'm doing. All that fun stuff. Like if I'm stressed, sometimes I get like really hot. Like right now I'm so hot in this thing, but like when I get to work, it's so cold. But again, I just don't like this. I don't think it's good for oily skin. Maybe if you have, I wouldn't recommend this for drier skin either, because it does get a little cakey. I noticed like it gets it, this is my biggest pet peeve, when like, does anybody else have this problem? Like around your eyebrows and right here, just like, and right in your eye socket, it gets like real cakey and dry looking. It does do that, so I don't think dry skin this would work for, because it would kind of pronounce that. Maybe combination skin, but again, go ahead and try it again. Like if you get this, I got mine at CVS, you can return used cosmetics. So, I mean, if you wanted to try it for $9.99, again, it looks really great. It's got a nice thick consistency. It just doesn't work for me. So let me know if you guys have tried this foundation and what your, I was gonna say thoughts, but now I can't think of the word. What happened to you when you used this foundation? Like if it was good, if it was bad, what kind of skin type you have, because I think that's a definite great thing to know when you're giving a review on an item. And I will be doing more of these kind of drugstore foundation-y. As spring comes around is when they get new products, so I'm definitely excited to see those. But spring and summer, I feel like they roll out like the dewy products, which I don't get, because I feel like when it gets warmer, everybody gets more of a natural dew, so when you want to be matte. But hopefully they will be coming out with some more matte products, because I just love, not because I have oily skin, but just I love the matte look. I don't really like the dewy look. I like more matte, flawless looking skin, if you guys know what I mean. So give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys later.